Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be working on our Jeep Patriot. We got to replace the CV axle. The boot is kind of torn back there. You can't really see it, but I'll show it to you later. And we're also going to be replacing the transfer case fluid back there. It's a bad shadow. You can't really see it. Oh, it's back there. I'll show you a little bit better later. But I've already got the tire off. Most people know how to take a tire off. If you don't, you can find out from other videos. But first step here is we're going to remove this splash shield. I already got a couple of the push pins out there. And then now we got a whole bunch of tins to take off down here, which is what we're going to do now. Crawl around down in here.
I can take the screw. No. You okay?
All right. All right. So now that we got the splash shield off, you can kind of see how the boot there is a little bit torn. Now I could just replace the boot itself, but it's just easier to replace the whole thing for me. And then back there is the transfer case and the fill bolt right there, and then the drain bolt is down there on the bottom that you can't really see. Well, you can kind of see it, but we'll see it a little bit later. Now, replacing the CV axle, this pretty much will go for any car. They're pretty much all the same to get out and in. But the transfer case will be a little bit different depending on car model. Alright guys, now that we got the wheel off and everything, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the steering knuckle here. And I believe on this one it is an 18. Now on this one it will just like to spin freely, so what you want to do, grab yourself a pry bar here, push down as you're taking the nut off, just like that, and it'll create tension and you can actually get the nut off. And then what I do is I just put the nut on real quick, grab myself a hammer, which
Right behind you.
I don't know where it is. Tap it out. Just like that. Now I always put the nuts back on to where they go, so I know what goes where. Not everybody does that, but I do. It's just a good idea. Next, what I am going to do is I'm going to take off the brackets for this brake line here. Give us a little bit more room and flexibility, so that way when the axle is flexing back and forth, it gives us a lot more room to play with. Like I said, I like putting the bolts and nuts back where they go, just so I know where they're at. So now I'm going to go ahead, take this axle nut off, go ahead and Take off this cotter pin real quick. And these things can be a pain sometimes. I'll have to get a different one. There we go. All right, we got the cotter pin off and the cover for it and stuff, and it fought a little bit, but we got it off. So now we're gonna take off this axle nut, which is a 32. Which I don't know where my 32 is. I just have it. Oh, there it is. Just like that. Take out this washer at the same time. All right, there we go. All right, next what we're going to do is take off the upper and lower strut mount here. That way we can get the axle to pivot. All right, so now we're gonna have to hammer these out real quick. So I'll find my hammer here.
Screw fell out.
Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Just like that. Careful here with this ABS line. I don't want this to break. That would be a bad day. Alright, so what I do is I take a little floor jack here, lift up on the brake rotor here, and lower control arm, and I'll beat out the axle here, take my pry bar and just kind of pry it out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it doesn't, but we will get it. This is just my way that I do it, which does not seem to be wanting to work this time. Which we might have to raise up a little bit more on that. See if we can get it to come out real quick. Alright, so we're going to do this a little different. We're going to grab a punch here.
Yep,
there we go. Now, we are out for the most part. Can be a little stubborn. Just got to kind of manhandle it a little bit, but there we go. We are out there. Okay, so now to get the other side out, on the inside, that goes into the transmission. I'm gonna grab a, I think I might need a smaller pry bar. Come under here, grab yourself a pry bar, and find yourself a good pry spot, which we're just gonna have to isn't a good pry spot.
You're leaking a lot. Alright, that first pry bar did not want to work, so we're going to try this one, which I don't think this one's going to work either. You might just have to pull on it really, really hard. It doesn't matter anyways because it's broken. Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull on it really hard. Well, that doesn't work. There's no room in here. You want the light back in there so you can see better?
No. Bring it down. Wasn't this much of a pain last time.
Yeah.
No, that's not baby. She'll cut you, boy.
There we go.
There it goes.
All right. Just a little bit of a pain, but we got it. There we go. Look at that. The trick is to get up alongside it and just hope for the best.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and change the transfer case fluid since we're already down here. Here is the fill bolt right here, and the drain bolt down here on the bottom, but we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we can get this fill bolt off first, because you don't want to drain it and not be able to get the fill bolt off, because then you would be in a little bit of trouble. This is probably going to be full, so let's go ahead and grab our drain pan here in case it starts dripping. Oh, nothing's dripping out. Alright. Get our washer off of there. So there's our fill bolt, and if you come down here, our drain bolt is right here. It's a 10 hex. So let's go ahead and get that out. Once I find my 10 hex, which is right there. Which is right there. Alright, let's go ahead and drain this real quick. How this looks. Oh yeah, it's not too awful bad for 60,000 miles. I'll drain out there a little bit. Alright, well, we got it all drained out. And now we're getting ready to put the new stuff in, just like that. Put it in the fill hole. Having the CV axle out actually makes it a lot easier. Now, if the CV axle was in, you could actually buy a little transfer hose thing that you could use to actually put it in, and I actually have one of those that I've used on the rear. Oh, are we draining out now? Tap more in there just to be sure, but I'm pretty certain that we are full, but just for good measure. Oh, yep, we're definitely full. Alright, just like that. Go ahead and put your fill bolt back in. And you're done replacing the transfer case fluid. Nice and easy. Most transfer cases, they're going to be all the same. You're going to have your drain bolt and your fill bolt, and they'll just be in different locations, but it's all pretty much the same. This is just how you do it on a Jeep Patriot, but a little bit later on I will be doing it on my truck, which is a Chevy Silverado, and I will make a video showing you how to do it on that. This vehicle uses 80-90 gear oil, but my truck actually uses transmission fluid. So make sure you get the right type of fluid also for your specific vehicle, because if you don't, it can do a little bit of damage if you don't. But now we're going to get the CV axle on, button it up, and we'll be good to go. This fell down. There we go. Put that back up there.
of support. Alright, now we're gonna put the new CV axle in, which should go a lot easier than getting it out. So we're gonna go ahead and just pop it right in. Well, now hold on. Pop it right in, as they would say. But I think we need to get these on this side. Make sure we line up the splines and everything. Might actually have to lower. Might have to go underneath and guide it in.
Do you want me to hold this in then?
Oh, we might have to pop that down. Alright, we got it on. Just had to persuade it a little bit, but it's definitely on now. And now we can finish it up. Oh. Definitely would be a lot easier with a lift. But since I don't have one, this is how we have to do it. Alright, so now we're just basically going to put everything back together. No room in here. So we're just going to go ahead, put the axle back in. Jack. Oh, a heck of a lot easier. All right. I guess I should have disconnected the sway bar earlier. Right, now that we got stuff situated here, we got the axle in, looks good. Got the axle in here. Go ahead, put our washer on, and we'll put our axle nut on. Go ahead and tighten that down. All right. Now we're gonna put. We're gonna put that on first. And we'll put our castle on. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Lined up first time. So sometimes they won't line up with the hole And what you'll have to do is you'll have to actually move the axle nut, and you don't want to loosen it, you actually want to tighten it until you get one of the holes to line up to put your, just like that. And then go ahead and take a cotter pin, just like that. Go ahead and fold it back. That way it's nice and locked. Now I'm reusing the old cotter pin. I wouldn't suggest doing that, but I don't have any new ones, unfortunately. I don't like reusing them, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And now we have the axle nut and everything locked in there. We'll make it work. So now, next thing what we're gonna do is go ahead and put the strut mount, the bottom strut bolts back into place. So, like I said, I believe I said, if you can, get yourself a floor jack. Get yourself a floor jack here. Put it on the bottom of the caliper, so that way you can lift and help lift it into place. Sometimes. There we go. Sometimes equipment doesn't always do what you want it to do. Oh, we're almost there. Oh, actually, I think we are there on the bottom. I don't know if we're completely there. We might be off just a hair. Oh, I think we're too tall. There we go. Just a up and down game. I'll go ahead and hopefully tap it through. There we go. There's one in. Now for the upper one. Same deal. Go ahead. Tap that in just like that. Put your nut on here. Just like that, nice and easy. And go ahead and tighten her down to the proper specification. What is this? 21. 21. Let's tighten. Where I got this on? I got it on 3. All right.
continue to use that?
Nope, because it's threaded.
Hmm.
It's blind bolt, so it just goes right in. All right, where did I put? I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up this sway bar link. So I didn't take this off first thing, which turned out, I mean, it wasn't too bad. You just had to turn it this way to get it back on, but it would probably be a lot easier if you do take the sway bar link off first. So just remember to take that off. So now we're just gonna put the steering knuckle back in. I don't think that came off of that.
The light is glaring on the phone. It says only 10% battery remaining.
All right, let's go ahead and pop this back on, which is at 18. I'm half blind from the light. 17. This is probably an 18. Yep. And again, the same deal when tightening it. You want to push down. So it's nice and tight, and then you torque it to proper specifications. All right, and now we have our CV axle installed, and we did a transfer case fluid exchange. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all these brackets for the ABS sensor and the brake lines back on, and then put back on the bottom splash guard. And I only have 7% battery remaining on this thing, so I will bid you guys a great farewell, and there'll be another video coming here soon of my truck, which I'm going to be doing the front diff, the transfer case, and the rear diff as well, changing out all three of those fluids. Plus I'm going to be doing a little bit of a seafoam experiment, because my truck is direct injected, and it's, you know, the seafoam, as you guys know, is supposed to be helpful with direct injection. So I'm going to actually take off the intake manifold and all that good stuff, and we're going to do a little bit of an experiment and then clean out the valves as well. So till that video comes out, hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it helped you. Bye for now.